Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
We
got an extra little intro this morning.
It needed it today. I got a good night's sleep tonight or last night. That doesn't always happen, so I'm a little perky, and I figured I'd just, drive it home.
All right, this will be an interesting show. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Tom Brush. That's Bob Graham, perky Bob Graham, ready to go this morning. And this is today's Antidote, where every day we come together and try to provide one thing to help you keep moving forward and find that next step so that you can continue along your pathway towards success. And this week we have been talking about uncertainty, because clearly there's a lot of that going on, especially as we turn the new year, things that happened last year. And I think on the beginning of the week, we talked that it's okay, that it is all right to be uncertain, that we don't always have to, and there probably isn't always the right answer down the road with every decision we make. And so it's okay to have that uncertainty. And then we sort of moved through into, how do you deal with it? And what are some examples of dealing with it? And I think, there are challenges there. And I think one of the biggest uncertainties that we have, which is our topic today, is our audience and how we try to reach them. And, I wrote an article a post on LinkedIn about this yesterday, just because over the last probably month, I've gotten more direct messages that are just pitches. Like, oh, I'd love to connect. Great, I connect. Hey, let me tell you all about what I do and the services I have, and here's what I can do. And it just, to me, turns me the wrong way. It's like they are not looking at who I am or what I do or whatever. They don't care. They're just putting their message out there. And I'm not really certain that they have figured out how to speak to their audience or what their audience is even interested in. And so I think that creates a lot of challenges for us, because we just know what we do. We don't necessarily know what they want. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, your audience, and the uncertainty around that. What are your thoughts on some of that, Bob?
Well, to me, there are two ways you can approach sales. And that's what we're really talking about when it comes down to finding your audience and figuring out who's going to buy your product or service. One way is you shoot darts at the wall. You're blindfolded, you just shoot darts. And if you throw enough darts at the wall, sooner or later, you're going to hit that big circle thing. What do they call it in darts, Tom? Help me. What's that?
A dart board?
Dartboard. Thank you. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep. You're going to hit the dartboard and you're going to get points. If you keep doing it, you might actually hit the bullseye. You're blindfolded. If you do it enough, I guarantee if you threw, 500 darts, you'll get a bullseye. And you go, oh, wow, I got bullseye. I'm amazing. I'm such a great dart thrower. That's one way to approach things. And that does work, because if you throw enough darts, you will get a bullseye. If you send 5 million emails, you will get a 1% return on your 5 million. We know this statistically. What you and I have advocated for a number of years, because we prefer it, is to be more surgical. Let me find the people in the world who are interested in what I may have to offer, and let me start having a discussion with them. Let me get to know them. Let me build a relationship first around common ground, around areas of common interest, around, oh, wow, you're trying to do that thing. That's really cool. I'd love to learn more about that. And from there, a subset of those people will actually work with you or me or anyone else. It takes longer. You run the risk that you're going to spend time with people and they're not going to become your customer, which for a lot of people, it's like, well, why am I going to waste 4 hours talking to people if they're not going to be my customer? What I would tell you is that 4 hours you invested today in talking to people may turn out to be the customer next week, or the friend of that person who tells his best friend who has a big company, and suddenly you're doing work with a company you didn't even know existed.
Right.
I've seen that happen. But those are two very different approaches, and both of them work. You've got to figure out which one works better for you, which one you want to commit to. And I've tried both. And it's harder to do the first one. It's harder to get in front of enough people. Now, the other thing, Tom, is you and I do services, or we do more, helping people kind of stuff. And that's a little different than if you're a tire salesperson. There's
Sure.
a certain number of people, if you put enough ads in the local paper and in the circulars and put billboards up, sooner or later I'm going to get a flat tire. I need to get my tire replaced. I go to Mr. Joe Tire Company and I get my tire fixed. That's a little different than what we do, where no one just calls you or me up and goes, hey, I'm having real trouble with my business. I don't know what's going on. Can you help me, please? Why would you do that cold? That makes no sense. So
Correct.
Part of this is also thinking about your audience. What are you asking of your audience? You and I are asking of our audience to be very open and honest about what really is going on. If I were selling, I have a remote in front of me. If I were selling remotes, I don't really care about your personal life. I don't care about your professional life. Do you need a remote to watch your TV? Yes. Boom. Sold. Done and done. All you have to do is have the right price for this. I can't charge $1 million. I can charge $5, $20. And you go, wow, that's great, Bob. Send me those. That's the Amazon sales model. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I want to be really clear. Tom and I are not saying that anyone is doing anything wrong in finding their audience and dealing with their audience. We're just presenting choices. Wouldn't you agree, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there are always options, and it's just a little bit about like, what are you trying to accomplish and where are you trying to get? And I think for some people, it's just, I just need to make a sale. I just need to get a client. And I think many times that leads to that type of outreach. I think if your idea is I'm trying to build a business, I'm trying to provide value, and that in providing that, it will then provide a return. People will need what I have to offer, and they will think of me at the time because of the way that I have engaged, interacted, and connected with them. And I picked up a client this year solely on the fact that I was doing a whole bunch of pro bono work when the pandemic hit, and nonprofits were like, they didn't know what to do. And when this person had the opportunity to say, hey, not only do I think I need a little bit of coaching, but I also have the resources and been given the resources to do it, you were the first person I thought of. And that's why I reached out to you. And that has happened a couple of times. So I think that's the other way, is as you look to grow and find the right people who are interested in what you do and how you do it, that shotgun approach, or the throw 8 million darts, is not quite the same. Because I can tell you, the people who have reached out to me that way on LinkedIn, that's not attracting me. It's actually turning me off. And the chance that I would ever really buy something from someone like that is a lot less. If they had reached out and we had a conversation, we connected, and they were actually curious about what I did and wanted to also share a little bit about what they do, yeah, there's probably a much better chance that somewhere down the road, if I needed that service, I would approach them. And so I think as you're thinking about not only what you want to do as a business, but how you want to do outreach to your audience, there can be a lot of uncertainty in that, because now you have to figure out, because I think everyone's afraid they're going to make, as you said, the wrong move. And I'll go back to, I don't think there is a right. There's just what's real for each of us. So for some people, that's what's real. I just need to get a client. I have to find people Someone has told me this is the way to do it. I'm going to do it. For others, they're like, yeah, look, that just doesn't sit the right way with me. And so I'm going to go a different route. Neither one is right or wrong.
The other thing about that different route in terms of getting to know your audience better is you start to identify new opportunities. You know, I do some speaking, and now I have a collection of people that I've done speaking for that they come to me and go, Bob, you did this thing a couple months ago or a year ago for us. Could you do this thing for us? We think you'd be the right person. Or they call and go, Bob, we don't know what to do with this challenge we have. What are your thoughts? Often those what are your thoughts are opportunities for me to, one, deepen the relationship, two, to do something that wasn't in the original list of things I would do for them. If I was doing that shotgun approach, I can only go at you with one thing. If I'm throwing darts against the wall, I can't go, Tom, I do this, I can do, Tom, I can speak for your company. I can go in and I can help. I can do, because you're like, what are you?
Correct.
You know, I'm a jack of all trades, which makes me a master of none. If I'm more surgical about it and going in and saying, hey, I see, you know, I've interacted with your employees and there's been some issues when I've been in your store. I'd love to talk to you about, you know, your customer service and how that's affecting your business, because I've observed some things. Who's not going to have that discussion? That may or may not lead to a sales opportunity, but right. Already I'm establishing value. Wow, this person is not just coming in here and getting pissed off. He's actually giving, I didn't know these things were happening. And right. I think that's the part of this. And if you are wired the way that I think you and I are, we want to be of service. That's the most important thing to us. That's why I'm here right now, frankly. You know, we're not making a whole lot of money this minute. To my knowledge, it's a goose egg right this second. But we want to be of service, and who knows where it will lead, right?
Well, right. And I think that's the piece of it. As you look at what is your ultimate destination, if you're uncertain about that, figure out, Larry, what's the first good thing that I can do? What's the thing that I can do? What's the next step I can take? You know, I think it's interesting. You know, that saying, I was just thinking of this as you were talking, the saying of people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And as I was thinking about that and what you had said earlier about the difference between providing a service and selling a widget, yes, people are going to run into times when they need to sell a widget or when they need a widget. So they just go to wherever is most convenient or some ad they've seen, and they do that. And I think that's the difference between a sale and doing business. You know, if I go and buy that remote from you and you're charging me $50, but I need it, so I got to go get it, but it comes back and it's not that good and doesn't have all the features I want, am I going to go back? Because I feel like, I don't know, I don't really feel like they took care of what I really needed. They solved my immediate issue. And they didn't provide me with other options to consider that might have been more effective. They got their sale. Do I want to really do business? I'm not sure I know, like, and trust them. And I think that's, you know, I just got thinking about that. I think that there is a difference between making a sale and doing business with someone who you're going to go back to over and over and over and over again. Yes, somebody who sends me that message, if I'm desperate, I might be like, let's talk because I need this right away. If they don't build that know, like, and trust, I'm not likely to go back. And in my case,
or refer them to other people.
Or right, which is even the bigger piece of it. Because you're not getting that extra benefit of not only me, but who do I know?
Right. And it's amazing how many people that I talk to know people that are in very similar circumstances in a way that I don't. Right. I know the people I know that are in my world, but I don't know the people that need X, because the people that need X seem to all know each other. And all you need to do is get in the door to that group. And then someone's like, oh my God, you got to talk to Bob. He's awesome. Yeah. Hey, let's get together with Bob and play golf. Hey, let's get together with Bob over lunch. You should meet my friend Bob. He's done a lot for me. And those sales when you get those connections are far easier than the dartboard approach, where you're going in and so much of it is based on price.
Right.
And if everything's about price, you run the risk of being undercut all the time. But if you've got someone going in there, I really trust this person. I trust Tom. He's done such great work for us. You can take the risk, because buying from someone is a risk.
No doubt.
And I think we as people selling our services and products don't always realize that the risk we put people in. And so that shotgun dartboard approach creates a greater risk. If you know me, it's like, oh, Bob, yeah, Bob's this way. And I've talked to Bob, and Bob really, he's a good guy. Or Tom's a good guy. You don't feel like you're in such a risky situation. If you say, yeah, Tom, I want you to help me with this problem. And it's kind of something I don't really want to talk to a lot of people about. But I trust you because I've known you for a while, and I know you're really a good person. It's that know, like, and trust part that Bob Burke talks about really eloquently, right? In The Go Giver.
Right. So I think, I know that I'm going to put this comment up here because I know that this person was really uncertain when this initially came up. He wasn't confident that this was the right solution. So I like Tim's comment that know, like, and trust your knowledge, experience, and perspective. So Tim is now on my side on what is real and how, and he's just adding to it of how you can really trust what you know, what your experience, perspective, and knowledge is. I like that.
And he also had a follow-up. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. And I really, if you think about, and I guess I'll give my one thing right now. How's that? I'm just going to roll
2
right
days in a row. Look at you.
I know, it's crazy.
I like it.
The one thing I would say is ask yourself, how do you demonstrate that you care with each of your customers? I ask myself that sometimes. And sometimes the answer to that is, boy, I really haven't shown them that lately. I need to reach out to them and just check in. I need to go by there. I need to ask them about something I helped them with 6 months ago. Not because I want them to pay me more money, but because I want to know, hey, did it work? So I can understand, wow, if that worked, that's a great thing. How do you demonstrate that you care to your customers, whoever your customers are? It can be a simple thing. I know John Hansen in his mobile auto service, he's putting ice scrapers. Every vehicle that gets worked on gets an ice scraper in there. It's not a big thing, but it's a reminder, hey, we're here for you. There's that ice scraper. And when you're looking for an ice scraper, that ice scraper becomes really valuable to you.
Really valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think as I was thinking about the one thing, and I'll just offer one as well, is that, if you are uncertain, and I think you shared it, so I just want to maybe clarify it a little bit for people, is that if you're uncertain about how to speak to your audience, go ask them.
Yeah.
And I guess the question becomes, how do you want to ask? Do you want to do the shotgun approach and just say, here's what I have for you? Or do you want to go and say, hey, I'm trying to figure out what your challenges are and how can I maybe help you get through those challenges because I see them. And I think that ultimately is about where you want to be at the end. What do you want your business to look like? And I think this has kind of been a theme this week is when you're uncertain, go to that endpoint and say, this is really where I want to be. Okay, great. Now what's the next step? And the next step, if you're considering about how you speak to your audience, is you can shotgun them or you can go out and ask them and try to better understand where they're at and how you might be able to help them with that.
We had a Renegade Success Network member who I was talking to with the other day, and she was telling me, we had talked a couple weeks ago about her talking to more people, figure out what the need is in this market segment. And she came back to me the other day and she said, it was amazing what I discovered. And it completely shifted everything. And it also got her in the position where someone's like, at some point, I might want to offer you a full-time job. She had the right language, she didn't know it. And so the confidence that gets built when you talk to someone and they're listening and they're going, wow, that's really interesting. Wow, Tom, I didn't know you could help nonprofits that way. Wow, you really, we thought we were stuck here ourselves and had to figure this out. You could really help us. You're solving a problem for a person. And a lot of times I'm amazed at how much time people invest in trying to solve the problems themselves, and they've run out of options. So if you're talking that right language, if you're understanding what they're in need of, you can really be of value in a huge way. I want to put Tim's comment up because it's rare that I get quoted, and I love to see my name in print. It's just the old journalist in me. How do you demonstrate that you care with each one of your customers? Did I say that, Tom? I must have. No, I know I said that. I know I said that. I'm just asking. I also want to say, Carrie weighed in a little earlier. When you were talking, Tom, it was probably 5-7 minutes ago. She agreed with you completely when you were talking about your approach to how we acquire customers. So we didn't get that in right away. And so, Tom, what's your one thing today?
I just shared it. I followed up on yours. You shared your one thing, and I wanted to clarify it.
Oh, you clarified. Okay, you didn't have you didn't give me the Tom's one thing.
Well, because I think it tied in with what you shared. I do believe that I'm really big on, if you're not certain about what to say to your audience, you probably shouldn't promote to them, shouldn't try to sell them. You should go ask them. Ask them how they're doing. Ask them how their business is going. Ask them what are they struggling with. Try to better understand where they're at, which will allow you to then put forward a better message. I think about that a lot in fundraising. When I did fundraising for organizations, I could walk out and solicit anybody. I didn't think that was the right approach because I might be wrong. And the last thing you want to do is go in and ask somebody for a gift, and they're like, oh yeah, sure, that'd be great, I'll do that. Now you're like, well, what did I miss? Why was that so easy? Or I had really done a great job of understanding exactly where they were at, what they were trying to accomplish, and put the right proposal in front of them at the right time. And I think so often we think that we have the right proposal. Of course, we have our goods, our services, whatever we provide, we think it's good. So why wouldn't someone want to buy from me or work with me when we don't really understand what they're trying to accomplish? And when we have a better idea of what that is, we can put forward a better proposal. And I think that's a little bit about why we need to sometimes listen before we speak.
Now, perhaps you're someone who's saying, I love what you guys are saying about audience, but I'm still a little confused. It's complicated to me. I feel like I've asked all the right questions, but I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know how to turn that into something useful, or I don't know what questions to ask, or I don't even know where to find those people to talk to. These are not uncommon questions. These are questions that Tom and I have faced in our professional lives. We've helped people with those things, and we've put together a workshop, a series of workshops starting on January 18th at 9 a.m. Eastern time, where on the first day of our 4-day workshop, we're going to walk through a process to help you really crystallize and clarify what your audience is, who they are, where you can find them, and really zero in. So you're not doing the shotgun dartboard approach that is frankly really expensive. I mean, we know, we've done it. It can be expensive. You start shotgunning Facebook ads or Google ads, it gets real expensive to get that one person after you spent $900. It doesn't work real well. So we're going to do this workshop. The first day of our 4-day workshop series is all about audience. It's going to dig into this much more deeply, much more clearly, much more focused. So you walk away from that first day really having a sense of what your audience is, who they are, and where they are. And if that's of interest to you, please, at the end of the program, Tom's going to play a little promo for that workshop series. And he mentioned in his comments a couple of minutes ago that once you figure out your audience, you have to figure out your message. and then you have to figure out how to deliver it. Oddly enough, those are the focuses of the next days of the week in that workshop series. So that's from 9 a.m. to 10:30, January 18th, it's Monday, January 19th, which is Tuesday, January 20th, which is Wednesday, and January 21st, which is Thursday. And you may be saying, hey, you didn't tell us what you're doing on that Thursday. We are going to help you really figure out one of the most important pieces of the puzzle that is mostly missing with the people we talk to. And it was missing for us, and we're going to explain to you what it is and how to move forward. How'd I do, Tom?
That was pretty good, Bob. I think you handled that very nicely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, folks, I think
just so people know, Tom and I have a little game about, who can do these things better. We're competitive in a sense, and we don't talk about this that much, but there's a little competition like, oh, Tom did that really well. Oh, I wish I had done that better than Tom. Don't tell me you're not competitive. You are. You're a very competitive person.
I am about certain things.
Not
and there
this
are other
though.
things that I just want them to be real,
Okay.
So it's okay. I'm not as concerned about how well did I do it compared to how well you did it. That's all right.
No, it's just a game.
I like the fact that you're playing that game. Maybe now I have to get more serious about the game. That might be.
Now I've changed to reality, right?
Correct. All right, folks. Well,
Sorry about that.
Thank you for joining us this morning for our latest edition of today's Antidote. If you are not a member of the Ring of Renegades, where this is broadcast, and we have other discussions, conversations, topics, polls, an opportunity for you to really connect and engage with a community that you can be a part of that is all about helping you move forward with wherever you are to taking those next steps and achieving the success that you want along your own unique pathway. You should join us in the Ring of Renegades. It's on Facebook. Just go search for Ring of Renegades. It's a private group because we want to have a tight community. So you just need to ask to join the group and tell us why you're a renegade. And then you can become a part of this community of leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners, nonprofit professionals, people who are trying to move forward. So again, that's the Ring of Renegades on Facebook. If not, we will see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time for our next edition of today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone, and we will see you soon.
What's your next destination? "2020 was a challenging year for business owners, leaders, and nonprofits. Whether it was a boom, a bust, or a pivot to something new, on December 31st we all reached a destination along our pathway. Whether you sprinted to year-end, took a much-needed break, or created new goals, intentions, or resolutions. Now it is time to chart your next destination with new knowledge, experience, and perspective. Given all that has happened this year, are you clear on what is real for your audience? What to say, how to say it, and where to say it? No matter how your year went, being clear on these things is critical. Even if you have already set long-term goals, taking the next steps can be challenging and confusing. Who can predict what things will look like in the next 3 to 6 months? Charting our next destination provides focus, clarity, and direction. On January 18th to 21st, join our workshop where we will help you identify what your audience needs, craft a message to reach them, and determine where to find them. This interactive and collaborative effort will have you ready to take your next step. Chart your next destination and your